I have an older brother and his name is Isaac. Now Isaac is a very hardworking, self-motivated, disciplined kid, and because of that, he earned himself a trip to the individual state wrestling tournament in Madison, Wisconsin. Now, as my parents and I were driving through Madison, I would look out my window to see that there were individuals in ragged old clothing. They were barefooted. They had shopping carts, much like this one, full of random items, and some even had signs that said, "I am homeless." I then asked my parents, how common is homelessness? But they didn't have the answer. I then did some of my own research, and I found that there are some specific causes that make homelessness happen to these individuals. They also have some effects that happen to them. Because of that, it affects society as a whole, even if you cannot see it in your own community. Now, today I would like to share with you some causes and effects and how it does affect society today. So nobody randomly wakes up homeless. There are causes that happen, and one of those causes is mental illness. According to the article, Causes of Homelessness Prevalence, Relationships Between Homelessness and Cognitive Disability, mental illness is higher in the homeless population compared to the general population. Homelessness and mental illness, a challenge in our society, states that of the percent of people that are homeless, 25% of them do truly have a mental illness. Health problems of homeless people states that other causes of homelessness range from substance abuse to physical disabilities. And this is because these people cannot work, they do not have a job, which causes them to have no income, which means they can't pay for their house. Now, if we look at this chart, the main 8 causes of homelessness, we can see that loss of job is number 1. And that makes sense because if somebody does not have a job, they have no way of making money. But one person can have 1, the next can have 4, but another individual may have 1, 2, and 4. It really depends on who the person is. So the causes come first, but what happens next is the effects. According to the Homeless in America, an examination of possessions and consumption behavior, acquiring possessions is one of the main struggles that homeless people encounter. Now, we know they struggle to encounter the necessities of life, such as water, food, and shelter, but they also struggle to obtain clothes, personal hygiene, shoes, and because of this, they are forced to refuse the objects of other people, or they are forced to barter with other homeless people. Traditional outlets such as restaurants and supermarkets are also off limits due to things such as lack in personal hygiene and improper clothing. According to Addiction Center and author Christina Murray, addiction and substance abuse is another major effect. These can range from affecting children to women to the LGBTQ community. Christina Murray says that these people tend to fall into a state of depression, and then they turn to drugs to self-medicate and for comfort. Other effects include tuberculosis, HIV/AIDS, loss of self-esteem. And we look at this chart and see that mental health issues, long-term physical health issues, and uses of drugs are higher in the homeless population compared to the general population. The effects on people affect society, but the question is how? Well, if we think about the environment, Christopher J. declares in his article, Socio-Economic and Environmental Impact of Homelessness in Olympia, Washington, a numerous amount of our environmental problems are through the homeless people. Now, we know litter is common, but it stands around more because homeless encampments are made of standing structures. When these homeless people move to shelters, they then send salvage crews to clean up the encampments, but there they find human waste and drug paraphernalia. Homeless encampments are tended to be around water, which means that the drug paraphernalia and the waste can get in there, causing dirty water, bloodborne pathogens, and other diseases. Now, all of this is just the beginning of all the homeless statistics. Today, I shared with you some causes, some effects, and I talked about how homelessness affects society. Now, homelessness doesn't just have to occur in the big cities, it can occur anywhere. One thing is for sure, that the homelessness statistics are shocking, but I truly enjoyed learning about them, and I hope you did too.